That's Another Round with Foltz. That's the podcast version of Another Round with Foltz with no filter and no like restrictions, basically. So Foltz, that's all you. I'm happy to do a different type of content.
Do tell. Do
Just
tell.
ranting's not really my thing. Well, whatever gets ratings, guys. All right. I specifically like Frank Sinatra songs.
Maybe you and Leish can do a duet tonight. He's playing the guitar now,
oh my
evidently.
God. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven, a LIV Golf podcast. My name is Heng, and with me is Jerry Foltz. We're both part of the regular broadcast, both analysts and talking heads, as Jerry likes to call us. And yeah, we decided that, you know what, we should spend more time together. And so here we are. We started the podcast.
No, we didn't decide this. We didn't decide this. The bosses decided this.
Well, yeah, but we're very happy to do it. Right?
And beyond thrilled. Like I get goosebumps every single time I get to see you on my computer.
I mean, there's just nothing better than waking up at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday morning to do this.
I love where this is headed. Oh, okay. I was going to say nothing.
I don't even like. Anyway, let's just get some of the housekeeping stuff out of the way. In case you don't already know, we do have our very own channels for Fairway to Heaven on all your social pages. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, TikTok, our tag is at FTH_LIV Golf. And if you're on YouTube and you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe. I think it's Fairway to Heaven podcast, right? Well, okay. So yeah, subscribe, leave us a comment. And, you know, I realize you guys can now DM us. You can slip into our DMs on the FTH_LIV Golf page on Instagram, on Twitter, and you can communicate with us through those channels. How cool is that?
I haven't gotten DM'd yet. What the hell? They could DM directly to me?
No, to the FTH_LIV Golf.
Okay, because I've gotcha. Because mine can, anybody on Twitter can DM directly to me. I did that a long time ago, and I'm the guy who doesn't ever block people. By the way, just so you know,
the whole purpose of us starting these channels is so that we can have the dedicated, hopefully, fans and listeners reach out to us on our Fairway to Heaven channels. It's not all about you, Jerry. It's not always about you.
No, okay? I just want to be able to read the DMs that are directly to us.
Well, we'll find a way to get those DMs to us.
Okay, that's all I want to know, because I had to do a workshop, a graphics workshop with Champions Data earlier, and it took me 20 minutes to figure out how to click the proper link. So I need it pretty easy.
Why am I not surprised? Like, honestly, you know, why am I not
surprised? You'll be old one day too, sooner than you think.
Guess what? You'll be
older or dead.
Well, whichever comes first. Anyway. Masters Week. So much to unpack. I'll go ahead and start, Jerry, because I know you have a rant coming up. I can sense it. I can feel it in your energy.
Why do you think that? Being. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was fun to watch. It was great.
First of all, I'm going to give props to Scottie Scheffler, because what he did was impressive. It was a commanding win, and conditions were so tough throughout the week. I think so many players had said that this was the toughest Augusta's been for a long, long time. I didn't get to watch it because of the time difference, and it's a struggle for me to get up at 2 o'clock with a 4-year-old, but I caught highlights and obviously social media. But how about this for Scottie Scheffler? He has earned $12.6 million over the last 35 days on the golf course. That is $360,000 a day.
That's pretty good. How about
That
Ted
is
Scott?
impressive.
Ted Scott's
That doesn't
second on the
sound.
money list, for crying out loud.
I
It's awesome.
know.
It is
I know.
phenomenal.
How about the guy that caddied
I
for
know, the
Tommy
local guy.
Fleetwood?
That was awesome to see as well. Yeah,
The
that was
local
really cool to
guy.
see.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments, I think, at the Masters. And just Tommy's such a classy guy too about it all, right? And he gave him so much props, and it was great in the post-round interview. Now he has, this is back to Scottie Scheffler. He has 3 wins and 0 rounds over par in 2024.
He does. And I would love to make a comment that he's not beating the same fields he would be beating if LIV and the PGA Tour were suddenly reunited, which is true. But Scottie proved last week that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if he's playing against a bunch of guys who you may not know in the mainstream golf fandom, if you will. He is so comfortable playing with the lead, and his ball striking tee to green is on par with, I mean, a lot of so-called experts and people whose opinions I value are calling him one of the greatest of all time right now, the way he's playing, the way he's hitting it. I heard Ted Scott on the radio today on the Caddy Tuesday thing they do on the XM radio here in the States. And I think it was Paulson and Paulson show, but he said Azinger told him years ago, pin high wins. Pin high wins. And Scottie Scheffler is the best at hitting his approach shots, regardless of the terrain, the wind, the weather, the proper distance. And at a course like Augusta, where it demands that, he was incredible. Nobody was going to beat him. It didn't matter. Any of our guys, no matter how good they played, that's really an unfair statement, because some of our guys have the ability to win any tournament they play in. But Scottie looked like a true world number 1 last week, and right now by a bit of a margin.
Yeah, I mean, he just basically, this is his like trend as a professional golfer. It was like this, and it just went like that. It just skyrocketed, and I have great admiration for him. He seems like such a fantastic guy, and he was. I mean, can you imagine if his wife went into labor, like coming out like maybe on the 15th hole or the cross? So I feel like all the stars were aligned for him on Sunday. And how cool is it? He went back to Dallas and went to that tavern and celebrated with a green jacket. That's pretty cool. I actually did think, though, I'm like, I wonder if he would have worn the green jacket if his wife went into labor.
Wow.
That would have been quite the birth picture.
Yeah, holding a newborn with a green jacket. That'd be a first.
Yeah, I mean, like your first, you just won your second Masters, and like you got the green jacket. That would put all the other like green jacket, I guess, not pranks, but like, you know what I mean? Like when they wear the jackets to different places, that would put all of them to shame.
Green jacket flexes. Let's call them flexes.
Yeah. The other thing I loved about what he said, the thing about what I love that he said in his post-round interview was that golf, what did he say? Golf was highly
unfulfilling, unsatisfying.
Satisfying?
Yeah, something like
unfulfilling,
that. Unsatisfying.
Unsatisfying. And he says, right now, all I'm thinking about is getting on a plane and getting home to my wife and welcoming the baby. I feel like he's one of the players that has a really great perspective on life. And it certainly shows, I think when you have a great outside life, usually that reflects on the golf course, doesn't it?
I think it was his rookie year on tour. I was following him at the tournament in Jackson, Mississippi. I think it's called Sanderson Farms Classic now, and met his parents and talked to them for a great long time. And they are as sweet of people as you could possibly imagine. And I remember, because I used to cover what is now the Korn Ferry Tour quite extensively back in the early days of my overpaid prima donna talking head career, as I like to call it. And I remember, it's the same. They say we all are. Yeah, we're talking heads. Golf commentators cannot make people tune in. We can only make them tune out, and some do it faster than others. Hopefully, we're not them. You never know. Well, they can DM us now and let us know. But I remember talking to his parents and met them and talked to them for a couple of days. And Karen even had the same experience with his parents, and they're just the most grounded, sweetest people in the world. And when he was playing his year on the Korn Ferry Tour, he only had 1 year out there. I remember texting Craig Perks, who was the analyst when he was playing, and saying, "Is this the greatest year ever?" And he said, "It's arguable, but yeah, this guy is the real deal." The only one that was close in terms of accomplishment, believe it or not, was Sung J M, and he hasn't quite panned out to be the same player as Scotty. But Scotty is, it looks like the real deal. I mean, it looks like he is going to be a force that hangs around for a long, long time because he does it. Rick with Randy Smith as his swing coach, who teaches the game very simplistically. He's never going to get overly bogged down on technique, and he's always going to go with that natural flow of his swing, which leads to that crazy off balance finish. And I know it's amazing. He just senses and feels every shot, and then somehow his brain produces it. It's really awesome to watch.
You know, there's I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter already. There is this thing that I can't remember who posted it, but it was Monday on the range after the Masters. There's this whole like a guy that's looking at Scotty Scheffler's swing and trying to like follow his leg work and trying to figure out like how to do it. And then it pans out into the rest of the driving range, like doing it. And everyone's trying to do it. And then a guy next to him, behind him, goes, "Dude, it's not worth it." He like twisted his ankle, right? It was just, it's hilarious. You need to go and check it out. It's so funny. But congratulations to Scotty Scheffler. That's so well deserved. And what a great win. Second green jacket. That's amazing. That's awesome. Now,
That's cool.
30% of our players were in the top 10. 30% of the top 10 were our players, I should say.
We had 14.6% of the entries, so 15% of the entries. We had three guys, depending on how you want to work the stats, in the top 9, top 10, or top 11. 4 guys in the top 12 or top 15. It was a very, very respectable and proportionate showing by the LIV Golf players, and exactly what's expected. We didn't have 3 of the top 4 like last year, which was really cool. But we had Bryson contending the whole time, Cam and Hatton looking like they could make a charge on Sunday and coming up a little short. It was really cool. It was just sad to me to see what Jim Nantz did as the players walked to the 16th tee. I mean, a legendary broadcaster who's going to probably go down as one of the best ever, tarnish his own career with something as petty as pointing out that the top 5 on the leaderboard they were showing, which also include Tommy Fleetwood, who was finished, were all PGA Tour players. And the comments through social media, unfortunately, didn't flatter Jim Nantz from the people who weren't true, like PGA Tour fanboy type people. They were horrible, and it sucked to me that Jim Nantz did that, because the Masters is above that. I've always held Jim Nantz in a regard way above something that petty, and he did it. And it was not that long after they gave the Jim Nantz narrated the most heartfelt farewell, if you will, to the retiring Sean McManus. Sean McManus, who's the CEO of, was the CEO of, the chairman of CBS Sports. This was his last Masters, and it was something so near and dear to him. I only met him once. He was a great guy. He was so revered in the industry. And Sean McManus's dad is one of the top 2 or 3 all-time legendary network sportscasters in Jim McKay. You go Jim McKay, Vin Scully, Keith Jackson, and I always thought Jim Nantz was going to be amongst those people, but not Jim McKay would have never stooped to Jim Nantz doing what he did to try and point out his loyalty to the PGA Tour. It really put a damper on the whole day after CBS and Sellerside did such a great job of presenting the Masters the way the Masters Tournament Committee demands and wants that it be presented, which is above all the fray, above all the politics. They did a great job of it. And it just, we come all the way down to 3 holes to go on Sunday, and I'm just absolutely beside myself when he said that.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it, as I mentioned before, but, I've always and still do respect Jim Nantz, and he's such a role model in terms of the broadcast space. He's so good and so talented. And I really, like you said, he certainly is going to be one of the best, right? And
you read about it, though. You saw all the comments. It was just like, it was, I mean, from the people who were huge fans, and I consider myself a fan of Jim Nantz. I've only worked with him a couple times, and he was very gracious to me when I did meet him, and very selfless. But it was like, I thought you, of all people, were above that. I could understand others doing it. I could understand me pointing it out in favor of LIV against PGA Tour. But he's Jim fucking Nantz, for crying out loud. That's just so far below him. So, and he did it last year when Dustin Johnson hit it into the crosswalk and making fun of our broadcast partner, which is in 125 million homes, the same as CBS in America. Well, he hit it into the CW there, the crosswalk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about
yeah,
that. Right. Yeah.
It's sad. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure, it made his friends happy.
As we do every week, we have a segment called Tea Time where we have the absolute blessing of access to some of the best players in the world. This week is no different. He has won 13 he's got 13 professional wins, I should say. 6 times on the PGA Tour. He's a 4-time President's Cup team member of the international team. He's played in the Olympics. He's played in the World Cup. Very decorated player. He's also one of the nicest.
He's got his own beer.
He's got his own beer. He's also one of the nicest human beings on LIV Golf. He plays for Ripper GC. Please let him in. Marc Leishman.
Hey, how's it going?
Leish.
How are you?
Good. Do you like my t-shirt?
Cruising, yeah, love the shirt.
I've kind of adopted the Ripper team as my team.
She said that last week when we had Oosthuizen on, that Stinger was her team.
No, that is not
it's
true.
Bullshit.
It's
complete
bullshit. Totally not true. It's not true. I said that I love the Stingers. I didn't say that they're my team.
Everybody loves the Stingers. Everybody loves Ripper.
How do you not, though, honestly? How do you not? Speaking of the Stinger, Leish, I just gonna ask you a quick question. If there were to be a night out at the bar with Team Stinger and Team Ripper, who's gonna last the longest at the bar on that night?
Ooh. Wow, that's a hell of a good question.
I'm only asking this because I know in Hong Kong, a night out between those two teams happened. And I think I'm just interested to see Leishman's perspective on the night and how that went.
I think if it was a challenge, I think if it was an actual competition, I think we'd win. I think we were smart enough to not go that hard because we knew we had to play.
You guys are, so much fun. I think the Stinger boys and the Ripper boys, I'm sure you guys are going to be able to come up with some pretty darn good entertaining content when you guys have your socials team do something together. I think it'd be really fun.
Yeah, I would think so. I think it'd be fun.
So you're in West Virginia? You're in
No. Virginia.
Virginia Beach.
Big difference. Huge difference.
Sorry, you got the ignorant Asian person who lives in Singapore that has no concept of America and the states and the cities. So I apologize. Virginia Beach.
I'm in Virginia Beach. Yeah, it's just starting to warm up, actually. It's pretty nice here at the moment.
Are you the only tour player to ever actually live there in Virginia Beach while playing the tour?
Probably, yeah. There's not... I know Curtis Strange was from here, but I don't think he ever lived here when he was playing.
Yeah, he's got a course, the TPC course he designed there,
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I would guess that I'd be the only one that had lived here, yeah.
Are you the only Australian in Virginia Beach?
Oh, hell
no. There's a few Aussies. Yeah, there's a few Aussies here. Obviously, big military population, so they do a lot of trades, and when a lot of Aussie special forces come over here and work with the SEAL teams, and there's a fair few here.
Why do you live there?
Yeah, my wife, she's from here.
Audrey's?
Yeah, that's normally the next question. Why the hell do you live in Virginia Beach? I mean, if I got to be away from my family, there's no point taking her away from hers. So easy just to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with 3 kids, right?
Exactly.
Especially with 3 kids and you traveling for work and all that stuff. What was it like moving from Australia? I guess probably at the time you're already in America, but wherever you're moving from, what was that move like to Virginia Beach? Because Australia and Virginia Beach, it's got to be like worlds apart, chalk and cheese, right?
Well, yes and no. I think like logistically it was pretty easy because I had nothing. I didn't have a house in Australia. I came over here. I wasn't on a tour. I was just trying to Monday qualify for the time it was the nationwide tour. So I was living out of hotels, cheap hotels at that. Obviously, it's a long way away. It's about as far away as you can get from Warrnambool, where I'm from. Yeah, it took a bit of adjusting. It took a while to get a good group of friends, and I've got that now. I've got a really good bunch of friends here. Got all my local spots that I can go eat or have a beer or whatever, and I've got a good house with a nice backyard and all that keeps me entertained while the kids are at school. So I've ticked all the boxes as far as that goes.
That's awesome.
Virginia Beach, first of all, I think it's 80% of Australians live within 10 miles of the water. So it's not that dissimilar to Australia in that regard. Weather gets a little colder in the winter than most parts of Australia, but it's a really, really cool town. I got kicked out of a bar there when I covered the nationwide tour back in the day. And that's where I first met Mark for a year. Well, you played out there 2 years, right?
Yeah, so I Monday qualified in 2007. And then I actually had a pretty good year that year. And then the first full year I was on the tour, it made it into that top 25 on the money list, and got my card from there. So it was it was an adjustment, just being so far away from home and not having friends and all that sort of thing. Packing up your life to sort of take a bit of a chance. But luckily I was able to make the most of that, and I was one of the lucky ones to actually be able to make a living out of it. So as far as that, I'm really grateful, and it was I feel lucky, but I think there was a lot of hard work there too. That obviously to get any results, or you need to put a lot of hard work in, and I certainly did that. So I think the work that I put in early in my career has not that I don't work hard now, but I think all the work on my swing is pretty much done. There's little tinkers here and there. So I've got more time to do other things, which is nice.
I do like asking the romantic stories.
Oh, you're going there already?
Yeah, well, we're talking about him moving to Virginia Beach, and his wife is from there.
We're gonna get sappy in the first 10 minutes.
This is a great segue into asking about what did I call it, Jerry? Was it Fairway to Love? Yeah, Fairway to Love. That was what I called the love story of all of our players, Fairway to Love. How did you meet Audrey, and did you move after you met her, or did you move and then you met her?
So I met her at a bar in Williamsburg just before a Monday qualifier. Well, I walked into this average at best bar, and then thinking, where are we going to go from here? So you walk in, look around the room, and then there's a beautiful girl on the other side of the room, and just happens to be my wife now. So it turned out pretty well for me.
Perfect. And what'd you ask her?
Directions to a better bar.
And did she go with?
There was no other bar.
Directions to another bar?
Oh, we're in Williamsburg, Virginia, so I think there's only one other bar in the place, in the whole town.
You were at the Sportsman's or whatever it was called, right?
We're at the Greenleaf.
Oh, the Greenleaf. Yeah.
Greenleaf, the pizza shop next door. So that whole strip, we sort of hit that whole strip in a few hours following. Got shut down the bar, and then to the pizza shop next door, and then went our separate ways. So
that's awesome. Good job, Leish.
Nice. When did you know she was the one?
It was quick-ish, but you sort of don't want to let that on, do you? You want to sort of keep them keen for a while. That would have been within a few months, I guess, maybe 6 months. Yeah, we sort of weren't too serious at the beginning.
Jerry, don't you love this segment, Fairway to Love? I mean, this is starting to feel like Love Island, but like a different form of Love Island. It's like
every significant woman in my life, since I was old enough to drink, I've met in a bar. My first wife, and now Karen as well. So there's just something about it. Yeah, it was long before you could swipe on your phone and shit like the kids do now.
I can't say the same. I don't quite have the same luck as you guys. But let's talk about Audrey a little bit, because you guys had a pretty big scare sometime in 2015, right? This is when you withdrew from the Masters, was that?
Yeah, it's 9 years ago. Yeah, it is.
So it's Sepsis, and I know since then she's obviously now healthy and doing really great. And you guys have started a foundation called, is it Begin Again? Or
Begin Again Foundation.
Begin Again Foundation, yeah.
Yep.
And you guys are doing some amazing stuff for it. Just talk us through kind of how difficult obviously it was during that time. I mean, I kind of saw on the page that you had your kids do voice messages for her, and it must have been such a just such a difficult time to go through.
Yeah, she was like perfectly healthy, and then within about 4 days, looked like she was not going to make it. So yeah, we had some difficult conversations with doctors and that sort of thing. Them giving us pretty bad news, saying she probably wasn't going to make it, and we had to try a few things to try and help her, but that she probably still won't make it. It'll be just her best chance of making it. So of course, you're going to go ahead and do that. But yeah, there was a few moments throughout the whole hospital stay. I remember when they put her into the coma, the first day that she was in it, she was actually, her eyes were open and she was texting me, like to communicate, because she couldn't talk. She had the tube down her throat and she was sedated and all that. And that was after I'd had the meeting with the doctor that gave us the bad news, and I go back into the hospital room and she's like, "Am I going to be okay?" And I had to blatantly lie to her. I'm like, "Yes, you're going to be fine, but you're going to have to really fight." Like, because of course I'm not going to tell her that, no, you're actually stuffed. You're probably, you're probably going to die. So yeah, there was some pretty hard moments, and then like you said about the videos from the kids, my boys were, I think about a year.
3.
Yeah,
right?
I reckon 3. Yeah, 3
2 months or something.
and then about that. So when she was in the coma, the doctors were saying, like, I've heard that a lot of my patients say they can hear what we're saying. So I was playing music to her, and yeah, got the kids to do videos so she could hear their voices, and it was pretty weird. Some difficult phone calls to friends and family and all that. But in the end, we were very lucky because obviously she survived it, and then and she's created, or we've created, but mostly her, the foundation where we've helped thousands of families, given away, I think, over $2 million to families who really need it, and a lot of good has come out of it. So we like to think that it happened to her because she could survive it, and she was strong enough to do that, and she had the will and the background to actually do some good things with it. So yeah, as difficult as it was, and she's lost her memory and everything. A lot of her memory is not great, but still, yeah, a lot of good has come out of it, and it's really given her a purpose to her life. After I did get onto her in 2000, or after we got married in 2010, she quit her job so she could travel more, and she was pretty lost for a while, just not really knowing what to do with herself, and this really gave her a purpose. So I'd like to think that a lot more positives came out of it than than hardships, I guess.
You went through absolute hell. I mean, describing that, just, I mean, we've all had, as you progress through life, you always have those health scares, or your loved ones have health scares, but not many people have been through something like that with the person you love the most cherished in your life, absent your kids. What did you learn about yourself through that process?
It's a pretty weird feeling. You do realize how strong you are, what you can go through, how long you can go without sleeping or eating. But I guess you just you learn how fragile life is, and it gives you a really good perspective on what really matters. Obviously, as a parent, you hope that your kids outlive you. And of course, when your parents pass, or whether it's before you or whenever that is, that's a devastating time and all that. But something that you think will probably happen before you go. Anyway, if Audrey was to pass, it was really going to change my life, like, massively. Like, I was thinking, when they told me the bad news, that I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I've just had to withdraw from the Masters, which was fine. That was not that was the least of my worries at that time. And then I'm thinking, well, if she doesn't make it, what do I do? Do I stay in America, or I was ready to pack up with the kids and go back to Australia and just be a dad, full-time dad. Whether that was going to be forever or until I got back on my feet or whatever it was, I was thinking too far ahead. But yeah, your brain just races. And I'll tell you what, the best night's sleep I've ever had was that first night after we got told that she was going to be all right and woke up from the coma. So, I didn't sleep for probably 6 or 7 days. I couldn't eat. I remember trying to eat I had a bite of a grilled cheese sandwich. I couldn't even swallow it. I was struggling, just making really dumb mistakes. Like I'd, try and back out of a car park and knew I was going to hit this car or a pole. It was a pole, and I just ran straight into it. Didn't even really react. It was like, oh, my rear vision mirror just smashed off on the ground. Oh, well, let's go. So it was,
I guess at that point you're just like delirious, right?
Yeah. Sleep deprivation is a form of torture.
First of all, Audrey is an absolute trooper. I mean, to fight and to get through it, and then to be on the other side doing what she's doing now to help other people is amazing, and just so admirable and so inspiring, really. But also what you did to support her, as well as your kids at the time who were so young, and that they're still so young, but at the time you probably got to be looking, oh my gosh, I've Harvey who's 3 and Ollie who's 18 months, and you're like, what do I do? And so for you to go into that mode of making sure you're there for your kids as well as her, it's tough, and I'm just like you said, it's awesome that you guys are on the other side now, and you can see all the positives, I guess, that came out of it. For everyone who's kind of listening, could you just maybe give us a quick definition or what is sepsis, just so people who are listening could be aware of it? Maybe their loved ones might be going through it. What is it?
So sepsis is your body's overwhelming reaction to fighting an infection. So if you cut your finger, it starts to go red around it and gets like pussy and all that. Well, your body fights that infection and takes it away. So say SEAL Team 6 goes out to fight that infection, that cut on your arm or whatever it is. Well, instead of SEAL Team 6 going out to fight the infection and kill that infection, the entire US military goes out and kills everything. So it basically turns your blood toxic and basically shuts down all your organs. So people think that they've got the flu. You get sort of pale and clammy skin and racing heart. But a lot of people that have it don't know they've got it, and they'll go to bed and then just not wake up the next morning. So Audrey wanted to go to bed and just sleep it off, and her best friend made her go to the doctor, and they put her straight in and, basically saved her life. So it's, you can get it from any infection. So men and women can get it. Audrey got hers from a tampon, from the chemicals in the tampon got inside her body and got it that way. So toxic shock syndrome can lead to sepsis a lot. Obviously, sepsis is really bad. I think it kills about 300,000 Americans every year. And then that led to acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS, which is... So pneumonia is a spot of fluid on the bottom of or anywhere in your lungs, but normally on the bottom of your lungs. ARDS is when your both lungs are full of fluid. So she had what was called a whiteout. So when your lungs are normally black on an X-ray, hers were white because of all the fluid. So it was long answer, but it's pretty severe. But if you suspect you've got it, it's very treatable. Especially if you catch it early. So that's what we do a lot with our foundation is awareness, like getting out the symptoms. Because if you do know the symptoms, good chance you're going to catch it. It's just some antibiotics, and normally you're good to go. Audrey's actually had it since, but she caught it early. She had it probably, I think it was about a year after she got it the first time, and it was, treated it and good to go. Wasn't even a hospital stay.
Thanks for sharing all that, by the way. I didn't mean to bring this podcast to a place, but I just thought it would be it's just such a big part of what you went through. and your family went through. And, you know, and as you said, now you guys are doing amazing things for it. And I just wanted you to kind of share that. And so that whoever's listening in, who might maybe be in the same shoes or might be experiencing the same sort of situation, be able to kind of relate. And
awareness saves
awareness.
lives.
Yes.
A lot of lives. A lot
Yeah.
of
A lot of
lives.
lives.
So
Whether
and
it's
now
sepsis or anything. Yes.
yeah. Now begin again. You guys are also not just raising money, but you are also providing support, right, for families and people who are going through it.
Yeah, all sorts of things to families, and then we do, you know, support the local children or the children's hospitals around the world. We haven't told anyone, but we've been doing a program where at all the LIV tour stops where we provide safe sanitary products to like homeless ladies. So we're doing that at, I think we've done it at most of the stops last year and this year. Audrey knows a lot more about that than I do, but yeah, we're trying to sort of expand, which is nice. We've sort of LIV's been we can give more now because we're making more money. Yeah, so it's a win-win.
That's really cool. Now, can I change subjects? Is that
allowed?
Okay,
no,
cool.
I just look. I just that was you know, that was important. That was important.
It's hugely important. It's a big part of who Marc Leishman is. Absolutely, and it's real life, and everybody deals with things that suck like that, and eventually someday it sucks even worse. But let's get back to a little entertainment here. You have now, because you joined LIV, you've had more time off. You caddy for your son as a bit of a hobby. Little Harvey, was he 11 or 12 now?
Yeah, he's 12. Yeah.
Now, when you beat your dad in the Warrnambool Club Championship, you were 13. Is Harvey getting close to that now? Because I understand he's quite good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's probably a couple of years off yet, I would think. But he's got a fair bit of game. He's got a really good short game. So our backyard, we can hit it. I've got a green in the backyard.
Wonder where he learned that from.
And so we can hit about 70-yard shots. So that's all he does. He goes up and down the backyard, just zipping these little wedges in there. So he's got quite a good short game, but he's starting to get some length now too. So we played 9 holes Sunday morning, and we played 12. But on the back 9, I beat him by 7 shots, which is pretty good. Like for a 12-year-old, that's really good.
He was off the same tee as you, or?
Yeah, I played off the red tees with him, so it was fun. Yeah,
that's still pretty good. That's good. That
yeah,
you know, that's the margin, right?
It was really good. Yeah, so he played. I actually played pretty good, and he played good as well. So
they were in Miami. I saw them a social piece that Ripper team did. I think both of your sons were out there.
Yeah, they were.
And Harvey hitting shots with the rest of the Ripper team. It's so cool.
Yeah, it was good.
And I know Cam's like super involved, right?
Yeah, Cam said you got to get Harvey to bring his clubs, and so he took out a driver, a wedge, I think a hybrid, and a putter. So in the practice round, that's the cool thing about LIV too. Like the rules are, particularly in practice rounds, are a little more relaxed. So we can, you know, if the kids want to come out and hit a few chips or putts or whatever, you know, as long as they're your kids, I guess. It's that's pretty cool. So and the reason we did that, we went to a Washington Wizards basketball game last year, and it was not too long after I'd signed, you know, maybe 6 months with LIV, and we got there for the warm-ups, and all the kids of the players were out there like shooting in the warm-ups, like shooting, you know, like playing as well. And I'm like, geez, that's really cool. And I'm like, there's no reason I couldn't be doing that with Harvey. So actually it was the week after we went it was in Orlando. I said, bring your wedge and your putter, and we'll, you know, it was a 1 o'clock tee time. We got out of the course. We were staying pretty close. We got out there about 10 o'clock in the morning before anyone was there. Crowd was sort of just starting to roll in, but there was no players. And just to be able to go out there and hit some chip shots and putts around the greens, and he just absolutely loved it. And it was funny how much the crowd loved it when they're walking in. Like I was very impressed with the kids of the basketballers, how good they were shooting. And I'd imagine it would be the same with the, you know, the kids of the golfers, because you do it all the time. You don't really look at it and think, well, that's really cool. But yeah, he was loving it, and the crowd was probably loving watching him more than watching me. So it was really cool. So yeah, we do that a bit, and now he's sort of gone up and started sort of playing a few holes on the course as well, which is nice.
That is so awesome. Jerry, I stole this from Jerry because we are talking about now the fact that you do have extra time in your hands now with being on LIV. Apparently, Jerry told me before we came on air that you have now picked up the guitar.
Yeah, started playing the guitar with Ollie actually. So it's when you have multiple kids, it's sort of you've got to juggle a little bit how to spend time with all of them. So Harvey, I spend quite a lot of time with on the golf course, and Ollie he's a black belt in Taekwondo, and I wasn't going to get in there and get all the white gear on, and that's not something I was going to do. But he wanted to learn the guitar, and I thought, well, I can try that. I'll be terrible at it, but it'll be fun. And I've actually picked it up reasonably quickly. So,
I mean, feel free to play something for us.
As long as you sing, Sue-Ann.
Oh, it depends what song he's gonna play. I mean, what is this? Is this what song?
He lives in Virginia Beach. It's gonna be country, I can promise, right?
There's one downstairs. I can play Good Riddance, like Time of Your Life, Green Day.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. I won't sing it, but let's hear it.
Do you want me to run down and play? It's downstairs.
Yes, 100%. Well, wait, this is all recorded and we can edit it, so don't worry.
And I'm getting another beer just for
go get.
By the way, I need a Leishman's Lager neon sign behind me, just so you can make.
So do I. I need one right there too.
Give us 1 minute, all right?
All right, go. I don't know that, but I don't know the song.
You have to fucking sing.
I don't know the song.
Look it up. You have a phone.
I don't even know what it sounds like. What is it called? What do you say?
Green Day. It's Good Riddance by Green Day.
Oh, I see this one. Wow, this is a hard song to play. A fork struck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go.
I want to learn an instrument, and Karen will not let me learn anything except something she can't hear in the rest of the house. She won't let me learn the violin or fiddle, which is what I truly want. So she's relegated.
But if you're in your basement, why can't you play it where you?
I don't have a basement because the violin transcends walls if you're really bad at it and you're learning. So yeah, she won't let me. What happened? What was that? I didn't do that.
What just happened? Hang on.
I have no idea how to turn that off.
How the fuck did you do that? Oh, here we go.
So this is going to be pretty embarrassing. So
I can't believe my producer just goes, "You gotta sing." I'm like, really, guys?
She's gonna sing while you play. Absolutely.
Really?
I haven't heard the song in years.
Oh Christ!
This is the only song I know, and so there's like levels to everything. So you can play it like golf. You hit balls on the range, then you got to take it to the golf course, then you got to do it in front of people. Then I've done this on the range.
Perfect. Nobody's watching right now.
No one's watching. Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the duet of Leish and Heng. Heng Leish.
Heng Leish.
Let's go. Hey, kids.
Okay, here we go. Why can't I hear it?
I can't hear it. He's on the range.
Oh.
So that's about all I got.
Next time we'll send an audio crew to your house to make sure it's all set up properly and get the mix right, and then Sue-Ann can
I better do some work then.
I know. I remember you just before you talking about how kind of what you went through with Audrey gives you perspective in life. It really puts life, you see through a different lens, right? Right after that, you then won. Was it in 2017? You won PGA Tour event. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, I won 2 events. I won Bay Hill, then BMW. And in 2015, I don't want to say should have, but I had a very good chance to win the British Open at St Andrews.
Lost at a
You
playoff.
got
to
so
Zach, right?
unlucky. He got so
Yeah.
unlucky. Your
Lost
drive
in a
got into
playoff.
went to a divot, right?
Yeah, hit it straight into a divot down the first with that front pin. I won the Nedbank later that year, which was good. So I had a pretty good run after that because I'd like to have that British Open over again, just because so I could maybe care more, because it probably helped me, to be honest, but I really didn't care. I'm like, of course I want to play well. I'm going to goes to show what mindset does with golf. Like, just look at your target, try and hit it there. If it doesn't go there, find it and hit it again. And I did that for, a long time. And it worked pretty well. You know, there was some really hard tee shots on the back nine of that Open. I remember 14 was in off the left, and the fairway seemed like it was 15 yards wide, OB just off the right edge of it. And I remember aiming at the middle of the fairway thinking we'll just hit a good shot and see where it goes. So normally you'd be aiming that way left. But yeah, it's mindset's a pretty cool thing, and something that I had for quite a while. And like anything, it fades a little bit, but there's little things that happen throughout your life that bring that perspective back to probably where it should be or where it could be. And as much as those perspective things kind of suck, because, you know, normally means that someone's sick or getting hurt or dying, they do help you sort of with that. And, you know, like you just said, Suanne, I'm an optimist, and I like to try and bring something positive out of everything, even if it is really not positive. So yeah, it's just always trying to find something positive out of everything, no matter what it is.
Let's talk a little bit now that we're on the golf subject. And you played in 45 majors. Hopefully the day comes sooner rather than later, that the world wakes up to the fact that there's now competition and these guys are actually really fucking good and they should be in the majors. The Masters pulled off a really good job. It was a great event and it was fantastic to watch on TV. I still think there were 3 minimum, if not more, guys from LIV who would have added to the overall weight of the product, but neither here nor there now. Hopefully that gets settled out. But one of the benefits to you joining LIV is that you now get to not have to take time away from your competitiveness on the PGA Tour to go back to Australia and support the 2 biggest events down there that are huge to you guys as Australians. Almost everybody who plays the PGA Tour who's from Australia takes time out of their schedule and falls behind certain, you know, points or what have you, money list, to go support those events. Not everybody, but most guys do, and most guys have throughout history. Those events in the late 70s, 80s, early 90s were almost like a 5th major. The Aussie Open first and foremost, and the Aussie PGA. And now you and you've always been committed to going back. Cam's always been committed to going back. And now you guys get to do that and embrace it. And is that, I mean, one of the benefits to LIV is the first part of the question. And secondly, is the importance of that to you why we see what we saw last year in Adelaide and what we're going to see next week in Adelaide in terms of the golf craziness for world-class competition, the thirst for it in your country?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, that is certainly one of the positives of coming to LIV, was to do that, to be able to, well, one, spend more time in Australia. You know, I've lived in America for since 2008, 16, 17 years now. So, you know, as an Australian, you have to pack up and leave your home country and everything you know to come and make a living out of golf. And now to be able to make a living around the world, including Australia, and spending more time in Australia and having an off season, it's been massive. I remember going to the Australian Masters and the Australian PGA and the Australian Open in the early 90s. And you're right, they were like major fields. You know, you'd have obviously Norman supported it, Ian Baker Finch.
But you had American stars as well would come down.
Yeah, like Bernard Langer, like Fred Couples would be there. Like there was so many guys that would go down there, and just love it. I mean, it's not only for the competition, but for everything else as well. You know, they're just great places to go. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff to see in the cities that we play in, and the golf courses are amazing. And to be able to showcase that now with LIV in the middle of the season in Adelaide, which a lot of people had probably never heard of Adelaide, but it's you would probably have been there, nationwide tour days, and I remember that.
And I played when you were 4 years old, turning 5. I played a season down under. Played the Australian Open at Royal Sydney. But you didn't come to those events. You were still a little too young. But no, I love Australia. I would say Adelaide's my second favorite city in all of Australia. I do love Adelaide. But anyway, I interrupted your question. Yeah, well, Perth is my first. No question, my favorite place on earth.
Really?
My favorite place on earth, yes. But
That's
Adelaide,
where I lived.
I love Adelaide. We've interrupted Marc's great answer.
No, you're good. No, it's a great city, and they love their sport. They support it. I mean, last year going to the tournament, I had a feeling it was going to be massive, and it was. It just exceeded, I think, everyone's expectations. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Golf or not golf, you know, with all the concerts there, and just the amount of like the diversity in the crowd. Like a lot of golf tournaments, you know, I would say the average demographic is 40 to 60-year-old man, you know, a few ladies scattered in.
White male, right, exactly, yes. It wasn't the case there.
To have, I mean, the amount of kids that were out there, the amount of like girls that were out there, it was just unbelievable to see. And it's funny now, being a father of a little girl, I notice all the kids in the crowd, and I was one of those kids in the crowd, you know, years ago in the early 90s. And I remember how much of a buzz it was to get a golf ball, and now I'm pretty conscious to make sure that throughout the day I throw a few golf balls to the girls, because I know my daughter would love to get that. So that's sort of it's just so good to see the diversity in the crowd, whether, you know, men, women, kids, and everything in between.
We've spoken to so many players, literally so many players, and everybody says the same thing. Adelaide is a destination they're looking forward to the most. John Rahm said that when we interviewed him when he just joined our league. I have like a huge list of everything that I look forward to when I go there. First of all, Australia is my second home, as you know. But I want to know, what are you looking forward to the most next week in Adelaide?
Oh, great question again.
That is a good question, actually. So I'm going home.
Don't sound so surprised.
Yeah.
She's actually very good at this.
So I'm going home tomorrow, actually.
It's
so
all
I
right. Leishman gives me enough shit. Don't worry. He gives me enough shit.
No, I do. I think I'm her third favorite ripper. So
who's last?
Oh, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is, yes, the golf, being at the golf tournament, but the thing I'm looking forward to most is the buzz in the city. When you're like, I remember last year I went for a beer with my dad on the Thursday night before the first round, and I went into a pub, and we just thought we'd have a quiet beer. Well, that didn't happen. Everyone in the city was a golfer, and they were so excited to see that the golfers were in town, and I was in this pub having a beer, and it was just, I felt like a rock star. It was really cool for a week. I don't know how I'd go handling that all the time, but for that week, just the feeling around town, and the way that the buzz in the city, I think that's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, apart from the golf, because the golf's and the buzz at the golf course is great, but just that it's not very often you go to a golf tournament and there's that buzz around town. I think you get it at the Masters, you get it at the British Open, and I think you get it at
the Waste Management.
Yeah, I was going to say the Players. Jacksonville really support that tournament. But apart from that, you don't really get it. The Travelers in Connecticut.
Which you won.
I did, yes.
Yes, your first one.
Yeah, first one. So I had to get that in there. Hang on. So yeah, that's a good one to just to have that feeling around town.
Yeah, I remember I was in downtown last year, and to your point, you can definitely feel it because I had to. It's a long story. I burned one of my dresses. Anyways, I had to go downtown to go shopping.
Wait. We got time.
And no, I'm not. No, no, I'm gonna look so stupid.
Were you wearing it?
No, I was.
Oh, okay.
So I had to host. I had to host the welcome party that night, which was at the Oval. And I had rented this beautiful dress, and it's very delicate, and it was a beautiful dress. And because obviously I'm traveling, so I had to shove it in my friggin' luggage, right?
You rented a dress.
So it's a thing for women. We can't afford to be buying like $500 dresses all the time. Anyway, so I ended up having to like steam it because it's all crinkled. And I think I put a wrong setting on the steamer, and I just went like this. And literally Jesus. A hole, just like, just a hole. So, and that was the day of the welcome party. So I was like, oh, fuck, I got to go downtown. I got to find something. And by the way, the shops in Australia open so early.
Yeah, they do.
I think I was there at like 9 a.m. and it was open.
Normally
but
9
they
to
close
5.
Early.
Yeah, 9 to 5.
You guys close early. Yeah. Anyways, my point to that, sidebar, is that when I was there was an activation that was happening for LIV, but you can, like you said, you can certainly feel the town really just so excited to have this caliber of players and just have this level of golf back in Australia. And I know when we were at our hotel, so many people had traveled. I spoke to so many people who had traveled from Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, that had come to come and watch this event.
Everywhere.
New Zealand.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Golf though, Leash, is in Australia. It's the weirdest thing to me from an outsider, having been there and literally, had I not been married when I went down to play there, I would have never left because I love it that much. I just love the people, the mentality of the people. But golf in Australia is very fractured for a country that's golf nuts, starving for world-class golf, but absolutely golf crazy and some of the best courses in the world. It's fractured between your two organizing bodies, what we would know in America as USGA and the PGA of America. You have the Australian PGA and Golf Australia, and neither one really embraced LIV because these two are always fighting for power, when if they were one unit, you would have the Australian Open be legitimately much like the Australian Open in tennis, be something that you couldn't miss. Did you and Cam ever like have a conversation regarding LIV and saying, this frees us up to go back and support now? Because I know that James Sutherland has come out finally in support of Golf Australia CEO, in support of the LIV event, and he now sees the value in it in terms of the good it does for golf in Australia and Australia in general. Did you and Cam ever have like a conversation saying, this really gives us a chance to now go support what we always wanted to do and not have to worry about anything else?
Yeah, we did. Before we did go to LIV, we had some long discussions because obviously, it was a massive decision for both of us. Probably more so for Cam at the stage of his career he was in compared to me. But I actually had a conversation with the guys who run the Australian Open this year, and I said to them, like, I feel like this is a massive opportunity for the Australian Open to have, like, basically become the unofficial fifth major again, because
to get back on the map.
The guys can't play together on the PGA Tour, the guys can't play together on the LIV Tour. So you have the Australian Open at Royal Melbourne, or one of the, the premier golf courses in the world. Everyone could go there, and it could be just this ridiculous golf tournament. You could make it something unbelievable. And I hope that they realise the opportunity that's there, because I feel like if there is a golf tournament at Royal Melbourne, I don't think there's many people in the world that wouldn't want to go.
I'll be there. Shit.
Yeah, I think it would be unbelievable. So hopefully that happens one day. And if things don't, happen before then, I don't know what's going on. I try and stay out of it. But it's I think it's a huge opportunity for the Australian tournaments, the PGA and the Open, to do something pretty big.
If they can quit fighting.
I think they're starting to come together a little bit. I think I haven't. I mean, because I haven't been in Australia for so long, for long enough to know what's happening. But I think they're pretty civil, to be honest.
It took Peter Malinauskas, as he's the premier of South Australia, right? It took him to take a chance. Well, I mean, a lot of places wanted this event, but he took a chance and invested in the event and made a believer out of the whole country overnight. It was literally, I've never met the guy. I know, Sue-Ann, you have at the burn dress party. But I am a huge fan of the guy for having the huevos, which to take the chance and see the potential of the investment. My God, has it paid off? Oh my God. Adelaide is on the map for everybody who's a LIV golf fan or a golf fan who saw what happened last year. They want to go to Adelaide, and good for him.
Yeah, I mean, and he took that was a risk.
Huge.
Huge. Early on it was a big risk because he put his money where his mouth was, and you just had to look at the tournament last year to see what it brought to the state of South Australia, and what it's going to bring again this year. It's going to be more this year. Like I say, that hopefully that risk gets rewarded, and it's going to be there for years down the track, because it's the way it was supported, the way he supported it, the golf course, everything about it, just the way it was pretty special. So I met Peter last year, and it was the first time I'd met him. He did it seemed like a really nice fella, and encouraged me to do a shoey on the 12th hole on the last day. So
that was awesome. That was your final hole, wasn't it?
That was the last hole, yeah. So it was nice cold beer going into a warm shoe. It turns warm pretty quickly, Sue-Ann. So that was pretty interesting. But who knows what's going to happen this year? Be nice if one of us could be celebrating.
Yeah,
one of the Ripper boys. Yeah,
I think I took a shoey out of Sue-Ann's shoe that Sunday night. Did I not, at our pizza party?
No, that was we ended up doing that in Mexico.
Okay. Oh, well, of course. Why wouldn't you do it in Mexico?
Because I did it with Cam in Mexico last year. It was my first hang time, and I did a shoey with Cam.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we ended up doing that. Yeah, it was so fun.
We need a Ripper ace on the party hole.
Yes.
We never need another highlight as long as we all exist. If we have a Ripper ace on the party hole, it would turn into most respectfully behaved, absolute pandemonium that you've ever seen.
You could just shut it down right there.
Just shut it down. Tournament's over.
Yeah.
Tournament's over. It's over.
Yeah. I remember last year, speaking of Adelaide, I think you were very kind to lend me some time to join me on hang time in Adelaide last year. And I know we were talking about Leishman Lager and how you got into it, but I couldn't ask you what I really wanted to ask you, which was, obviously you were very involved with the tasting of the alcoholic beverage. It's a great beer, by the way, Leishman Lager. I want to know if there were any great stories that happened while you're tasting beer and trying to just get the perfect beer that you want. Were there any great drunk stories?
Oh, I mean, there's plenty of great drunk stories. But while we were tasting it, the beer for the Leishman Lager was very quick actually. The first batch we did was really good, so we didn't have to do much to it. It kind of was, which was a good thing, but it was one of those things you wouldn't mind if it took a few goes to do it, so you could taste a few more. Kind of like well, we won't talk about that, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh my God. So no good drunk stories. Well, do you have any great drunk stories outside of tasting Leishman lager, perhaps?
One good one, actually. I've got a few good ones, but probably my best one was, or one of, was I was at second stage of Q school in Los Angeles and
Where at?
Oak Valley.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I thought I'd got through, and I needed one guy in the last, I think it was 6 groups to shoot more than 69. And I was in, and they all shot under 69. So I go from going to final stage of Q school to flying back to Melbourne to play in the Australian Masters. So we go to the Corners Club in LA to commiserate. There was you might know. Do you know Steve Jeffries?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm there with Jeffro. So we're commiserating. He'd missed at second stage as well. So we start smashing Coronas and finish all the Coronas in the lounge, and then we're like, well, another Corona, please. Like, oh, well, you've actually drank them all, sir. It's like, oh, what else you got? So we start drinking Baileys out of pints, straight Baileys out of pints.
Oh, you got cavities. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and then we finish that, and then I'm like, so we go up and they're like, you've drank all the Baileys, sir. It's like, all right, what else you got? They're like, I think you have to go. I'm like, yeah, all right, fair enough. I'm a pretty obedient drunk. So get on the plane, and I'm sitting in economy on the exit row on the aisle. So the kitchen's right next to me. So I get on the plane, get to my seat. I'm like, beautiful. I'm golden. So get on, look up, plane starts spinning. You know, when you before you're about to Ralph. So the plane starts spinning. I'm like, oh shit, fall asleep. So they come over and they're like, sir, like you have to get off the plane. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Promise you I'm fine. They're like, no, you have to get off the plane. Seriously, I'm fine. They're like, sir, we're in Melbourne. So
15 hours?
15 hours, didn't even recline the seat. Yeah.
Woke up drunk. No, that's world-class drunk.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
I've never heard of one like that. 15 hours in economy, didn't recline the seat, and you're about to hurl.
Yeah.
You didn't
pretty impressive
pant or anything.
That is impressive.
No, I had a pretty impressive pile of dribble on my shoulder, but apart from that, I was pretty much unscathed.
And the people next to you had to climb over you. You never even knew it because there's no way they didn't get up in 15 hours.
It was one of those seats that had about 10 foot in front of you with that massive
door.
door.
One of those exit rows? Yeah.
So it was lucky. But no, it was pretty impressive session.
That's awesome.
That is an impressive session.
That's awesome.
I know Jerry has some great ones too.
Great what?
Jerry's got some great drunk stories.
Oh no, I don't get drunk. I just get happy.
Yeah, I am actually curious because we never really got to chat with you and spend enough time with you when you joined LIV. Just kind of share with us how that conversation happened. When did Cam call you? What did he say to you, and kind of what convinced you to then make that decision to come over to LIV?
Yeah, well, we spoke about it. Oh, geez, it was all happened pretty quick. I got a call off Greg. I reckon it was the week after the US Open. They wanted, me and Cam, and I called Cam and I'm like, mate, I said, I'm probably not going to go unless you go. So what do you like? And if you don't want to go, that's fine. But don't make your decision on me. And then he said, well, I'm not going unless you're going. And I'm like, well, it seems pretty good. We put all the positives and negatives down, and the positives far outweighed the negatives. And it turned out to be a pretty easy decision. And I think it was a good thing was that we've both got very similar upbringings, working class families. We like enjoying ourselves. I guess you a lot of people live to work. We work to live, although we do have a really, really cool job. So it was a fairly easy decision, and one that I certainly haven't regretted one bit. I know Cam is as happy as he's ever been as well. So we're both very happy, particularly to be going back to Australia this week. Going back for everything that is going to showcase all of us in front of the Australian fans, and be in our home country. So yeah, it's been amazing. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's such an Aussie way of life. I work to live. It's kind of like the Australian motto, isn't it? It's just like everybody is that way, and that's why the culture is so awesome and laid back and chill. And I love it. I would move back to Australia in a heartbeat.
When I went there, and I'm going to date myself here because I'm a fucking fossil.
You're a fucking dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Same with fossil is a dead dinosaur, just so you know. Not that there are any live ones besides me. I went there in 1988, 89 to play. Played for an entire season, 6.5 months. Lived in Australia, and my one observation, there are a number of observations, but the one that stuck with me most, coming from America, is a 9-to-5 job in Australia means you leave home about 9. You're sure as hell home by 5. and that, as opposed to in America, which thinks they have a strong work ethic until you go to many Asian countries where we're laughed at too. But and then the guys, the bosses who drove the nice cars, they didn't have traffic because they were always on the road, getting there by 7:30 or 8, and there was no traffic. But the people who had jobs, like I grew up in a blue collar family, a working class family as well. And I love that about him. The second part that falls in line with that is when I was there, and I think it's still that way, because in America, I'm introduced as Jerry, the golf commentator. This is Jim, the accountant. There's Sue-Ann, the entertainer. Sorry, I just pulled that out of nowhere. But you're introduced, your value, your identity is your occupation. In Australia, it was always considered, back then, I think it's the same way now, rude to even ask somebody what they did for a living until you got to know them. You're either a good bloke or a bad bloke, period.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Yeah, you would never say this is Jerry, he's a commentator. You'd be like, yeah, this is my mate Jerry.
Right.
Yeah, this is my friend Sue-Ann or whatever. You'd never and then let people make their own decisions. Yeah, that's certainly exactly right.
So to illustrate that, we played in it was a Coca-Cola Classic up in the Gold Coast, and there was a hotel that an American guy owned, a really nice hotel out on the water, and he made sure that all the American golfers got a great rate there. So we stayed there, and he invited us out to some big fancy, not fancy, but like family dinner style place with entertainment for dinner. And he goes, yeah, it's just me and 3 of my mates, and you guys and you and whoever you want, just bring. It's on me, no big deal. And we go there, and these 4 people, we met the American, but the 3 Australians that are with them are like, they're all just like best buddies hanging out, 2 guys, 2 girls, various ages and what have you. It turns out it's the owner, the American owner of the hotel, the general manager, an Aussie guy, older in his years, but just the quality, salt of the earth guy, and then 2 ladies of various ethnicities and what have you. We couldn't quite figure out. It was the owner, the GM, and 2 of the housekeeping staff, and they were just best friends. And that does not happen in America. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. Just the way we're brought up, it's like, treat everyone equal, no matter who they are. Like, everyone's just trying to make a living. All breathe the same air, all going to end up in the same place. So it's a pretty good way to live.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, speaking of Australians, I mean, you guys are an all Australian team, the Ripper. I'm curious to hear your perspective. Where do you see Ripper GC in the future? Like, what does that look like for Ripper GC down the road?
I think a lot of people want the merchandise and want this and want that, and I think you could build. I see the franchise growing massively because I mean, you've got the the Fireballs is, I guess, the Spanish team. You got the South American team. Majestics is the English team, and then we're the Aussie team. So I think, I think in the future, I think as far as merchandise, that's the first place my brain goes. I think it will continue to be an Australian team, firstly, but I think instead of buying, you go into a pro shop, instead of buying a Callaway hat or a Titleist hat or a Ping hat, people are going to be buying, Ripper hats or, whatever it is. So I think that's one huge opportunity for Ripper in Australia is get everyone into the gear and, give them the opportunity to buy it. 'Cause at the moment, I think they've only just recently in the last month or so been able to get the merchandise. I know we get a million Instagram and all these social media things asking us where to get it, and well, we don't really know. So I think that once that gets taken care of, it's going to grow rapidly.
Yeah.
Well, last year, you guys completely sold out your hats, like instantly sold
They
out.
will
I
this
don't
year
think
too.
there are any left.
They will sell
this
out
year
in
too.
5
I hope
minutes.
they made enough for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of which, if anyone's wondering about my t-shirt, it will be available in Adelaide at the merchandise store. You can get that there. But I'm sure you're gonna have to get in quick because I'm pretty sure it's gonna get sold out. This is a really cool one. Actually,
Will they have it in your size?
A chip. Really? They won't have it in your size. That's for fucking sure.
Fuck off. Hey, do your last, the thingy you do with the quick questions and all
the
that.
thingy no, I'm not gonna do the quick questions with him because it's like, I don't know if he'll really enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe I will. Should I do it? I don't remember, but I'll wing it. Okay, I do this thing with all your Australian teammates. So far I've done it with, let's see, Matt, and I've done it with Cam. Yeah.
Well, Mark was sitting with Matt when we did it, by the way. He was in the airport lobby.
Anyways, we'll do a quick one. All right, here we go. The Australian quick five, as I like to call it. Here we go. Royal Melbourne or Royal Queensland?
Royal Melbourne.
Bangers and mash or a meat pie?
Meat pie, definitely.
No, not a question.
What type of meat pie?
What type of meat pie? Chunky beef.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a lamb. Either way. Yeah.
Same
thing. So good. Do you cook?
Yeah, steak mostly. Bit of Mexican. Yeah. Anything on the grill.
And anything that involves a barbecue, basically.
Exactly.
Let's see. I asked Jonesy this. Men at Work or what's the other band? Help me out here. Crowded House.
Probably Crowded House. Men at Work, we got obviously, no, I can't think of it, but I know Men at Work, we got one really good one.
I'm more air
down under. Yeah.
Down under. Yeah. Let's see. What else was it? Would you rather take a shoey at the Masters or drink out of the claret jug?
Ooh, I know the answer.
Geez, that's a hard one. Probably the British Open. Claret jug would be a good one. But that'd be, I mean, it'd be hard to, either one.
Yeah.
Either one, but yeah, the claret jug would be cool.
4X or Vic Bitter. That's mine. I'm chiming in here.
4X off the wood. So there's at the Brecky Creek pub. They have a wooden keg on the bar on busy days. Just sits on the bar, and 4X out of the wooden keg is probably the best beer I've ever had. Yeah.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Really?
So I would say 4X if it's
statement.
it's as good. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I remember I was sitting, I think it was you, Cam. I don't know if Jonesy was there yet when had a drink downtown. I think you guys went through a few pints of 4Xs.
Yeah, we probably would have. Yeah. 4X Gold, I reckon it would have been. It would have been the mid strength.
Yeah.
If we're having a few.
Why do they call it 4X?
That's the name of the brewery. It's Castrol Main Brewery. I don't know. It's just 4Xs.
I was looking for the Australian answer.
Oh, shit.
Because Queenslanders can't spell beer was always the answer I was told.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
We should have told that to Cam. Leish, thank you so much for your time. We'll let you go.
Awesome.
And
No worries.
as
Sounds
always,
good.
it's such a pleasure. Yeah, such
All
a
right.
pleasure.
When are you
to
guys
spend
getting down
time
to
with you.
Australia?
I get there Monday morning, like early morning.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know.
I don't know when.
I
When
leave
are you
here
gonna go?
Saturday. I
Right.
leave here Saturday night. So whenever, I have no idea when I get there. What about
Yeah.
you, Leaf?
Probably Monday. I get there. Oh, I'll leave tomorrow. So
Yeah.
Are you going to Melbourne first or?
yeah.
Okay.
So I get there Friday. Yeah.
By the
Well,
way, you're a photocopy of your dad. Just FY. Like if like your dad, you guys are like carbon copy. It's like the same, and he's like you're like the exact same person as your dad. He's just so
yeah.
he's such a nice guy. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah. No,
Anyways,
I'm very lucky.
look forward to
Yeah.
seeing them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Look
Well,
forward to
let us
seeing
know
them.
if you want to catch up for a beer Monday. We'll be around.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
in.
Sounds good. I'm in. Yeah. Didn't
All right.
take much to convince
Yeah.
Jared.
No worries. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Safe
Sounds good.
travels and
Yeah, you
really
guys
looking
too.
forward to Adelaide.
No worries.
Cheers,
Yeah, that'd be
Mark.
good.
All right, Leash.
All right. See you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers,
All
mate.
right. Have a good one.
Oh man. All right. Well,
do
that
your
was
thing.
he's such a hard guy to not like. Come on, seriously,
Yeah.
honestly. How do you not like Leash?
I know we say that every
as a
week, but
human
every
being?
week it just proves more and more true. Because
But I think that's
Go ahead.
that's the whole point of this podcast, right? It is to be able to really get to know these guys and to really spend that one-on-one time delving into their lives and what makes them tick and hear how they got through difficult times and things that people can relate to. Yes, because I know as a kid growing up, I saw all these guys as like superheroes, right? They're on this pedestal and they're superhumans on the golf course, and it's like nothing can ever get to them. But look, we're all humans, right? And just hearing what he went through with his family, coming out on the other side, and now what they're doing as well, and sort of his take on life is absolutely refreshing. It's so admirable and inspirational.
It's like you said, it's cool getting to know them, but it's not just us getting to know them. It's the people who tune into our podcast, listen or watch, and they get to see a side of these superstars, and they are superstars in the game. They get to see a side of them, the human side of them, and all the comments I get from people who watch, and we get we get way too many comments from people, fans, if there are such a thing, friends, viewers, that just love getting to know these guys. And we haven't interviewed an asshole yet, because every single person we interview, we talk to, we have as a guest. Fuck up. Every single person we have as a guest is you get to see them as a human, and they're so unguarded. And a lot of that, and I hate to say it, God, I hate to say it, it kills me to say it, is because you have such a disarming quality about you that comes across not only in the personal conversations, but on the
I
air.
was not expecting.
You go ahead and blush right now, but you do, and don't ever lose that. Don't ever lose that.
I was not expecting that.
Don't become a crusty
direction,
old bitch, for crying out loud. Just keep that little innocence to you.
Oh, Jerry, I love you. I love you. I love you. I hate that I love you.
Yeah,
But that was so much fun. Look, we have so much to look forward to. I was telling this to a friend the other day. I'm nervous in the most positive way about Adelaide.
Why?
I'm not nervous, but I'm so excited that I'm like ready. I'm like, let's go already. Like the anticipation is killing me. And like, I still can feel and hear the atmosphere last year.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to oversell this. It legitimately.
You can't. It's impossible.
Bottom of my heart, I have the privilege of walking with Cam for 2 days and feeling it's an energy. It is. It's just an energy that you feel, and the authenticity of their love for golf and their love and support for the country and their players. You can't buy that.
No,
you can't, and you can't make it up.
Right.
You can't. And it's amazing, and I'm so excited to be able to like do it again. And as Leish said, it's gonna be bigger and better this year. Not that I can't imagine how it would be bigger and better, because last year was just like amazing. But obviously we have some new players visiting Australia, so really excited to see the turnout. And
well, I haven't
enjoy the long trek.
It's no problem. I haven't been nervous in a good way since prom night, just so you know.
Just in case it got missed, just wanted to say, so this is a fantastic Ripper t-shirt. Obviously Adelaide coming up, you got to pick a team. Obviously this is a natural choice. All I'm saying is it's available in the merchandise store when you get on site. So everyone who's traveling to the event, I suggest you run into that merch store and get it, because I think they have limited pieces.
How'd you get one?
It's a cool one. I got it in Vegas. I think this was like the Vegas, like the casino chip one. And I think they're gonna, I think it's really cool. And I think they're gonna keep making them for the one in Adelaide.
Okay.
And they're gonna have some really cool hats. I think the one that Cam was wearing the other week, I think that would be available too.
And now we have partnered with New Era, who makes the best hats in the world, which is awesome.
They do. They're so comfortable.
Yeah, they're so good.
They are so comfortable. Yeah. So you got to go visit the merch store and get that stuff quickly. I don't know if they're going to do a special one. I remember last year they had a Cam one with the mullet and the stash.
I still have that in my closet. I love that
t-shirt. I still have it. I love that t-shirt.
Maroon and yellow.
Anyways, so much to look forward to. I'm really excited. I'm not going to be jet lagged for about at least 5 weeks. So that's really great. But yeah, so much to look forward to. And then you guys are coming to my hometown. Yeah. Anyways, well, if you are a fan of Fairway to Heaven, please do subscribe to our dedicated Fairway to Heaven YouTube page. And if you're on socials, which I would imagine everybody is on socials, TikTok, Instagram, the X, we are, and you can find us at FTH_LIV Golf. Find us there. You can now slip into our DMs, give us a shout, show us some love, and we look forward to chatting with you live in Australia.